Whole Bible readers, this is week 26. There are 52 weeks in the year, so this is the halfway week. We're coming to the crest of the hill. If this has seemed like it was hard and long at points, well, there's hope. There's going to be less ahead than there is behind from this point forward. Now we're in the book of Jeremiah, and Jeremiah is a beautiful book. It's a challenging book. It's meant a lot to me at many points in my life, but it could be a discouraging book because it is so raw, and Jeremiah's situation was so discouraging. So as we are wrapping up the book this week, reading from chapter 30 to the end of the book, I want to point out some things that the book says amidst all of the despair and the grief that's expressed that are very hopeful. In chapter 31, we're going to read a promise at the very beginning of that chapter that God is going to reunite all of the tribes of Israel. Let's not forget, in Jerusalem, where Jeremiah is, that's just Judah. Judah plus the little tribe of Benjamin, that's all that's left. That's the southern kingdom. The northern kingdom is gone, though there is a small remnant of them who remain and will pop up for us in the New Testament as the Samaritans. But the idea that God would reunite these tribes after for centuries they've been divided, that was a big thing. And then chapter 31 goes on to say not just the tribes of Israel, but people from the farthest parts of the earth, including the blind and the lame and the pregnant. They're all going to be united together as God's people because of what God is doing. Why? Because of what chapter 31 says a little bit later. God is going to make a new covenant with his people. The old covenant written on stone is the one that they have disobeyed. This one is going to be written on their hearts, and God is going to empower them by his Spirit to keep this covenant. Now, this is the remarkable thing. God had always empowered people by his Spirit among the people of Israel, especially the prophets like Jeremiah. But he's saying, in this new covenant, I will not just empower the few, I will empower all of my people by the Spirit, which is a great and wonderful promise that you and I, as followers of Jesus, are recipients of. So, chapter 33, verse 9, Jerusalem is going to become a city of joy for all nations. That promise extends to everyone. And I think I've mentioned this before, but it's one of my favorite things about the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah picks up on a phrase from the book of Isaiah, where Isaiah says a shoot will spring up from the stump of Jesse. And Jeremiah picks that up as the righteous branch of David, the promise of the great son of David who will be God's true king. And so we see that in chapter 33, verse 15. So amidst the hardship, the despair, the condemnation of idolatry, the prediction and recounting of the siege of Jerusalem and the fall of the city and the temple, notice those important notes of promise. God is never done with his mercy. He's always looking to bring people to him. So when we get to to chapter 50, we're going to see, how God is not just judging Judah for its idolatry. He also judges the nation who brings his judgment. He judges Babylon. And so Jeremiah's description of what will one day happen, that Babylon itself will fall, that description is going to become a kind of a paradigm in the New Testament. It will be picked up and kind of remixed in the book of Revelation as a way of describing the fall, not of any one specific kingdom, but of all the kingdoms of evil in the world as Christ triumphs over all at his return. So, good stuff here. Jeremiah is a painful reminder of the hardships of the world, of the necessary justice of God. But what would life be if it weren't for the justice of God? But the reassurance that God's mercy is everlasting. So let this book speak to you. Let its honesty, its transparency address some of the hard questions that we experience, that we internalize. May you be blessed as you read.